This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Kicking off hour two here at Money Moves, VSiN, the sports betting network, Sirius XM channel 158. The madness is rolling along here, and I am not exaggerating at all because we've already had plenty of chaos here in the early window. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. We'll continue to preview games throughout the course of the next hour, giving you live betting opportunities for all the games in action as well. Iowa State, Tennessee State set to get underway here in a few minutes, but real quickly, JVT, because you just pulled something up on your screen that's fascinating to me. It was such a back and forth game all day between Santa Clara and Kentucky. Santa Clara late in regulation hits a three. Kentucky answers on the other end with Owe off the backboard and in to force overtime. And then Kentucky goes on to win in OT 89-84. But tell the people what you just saw on the internet as well with regards to that final three from Kentucky.
Well, it looks like Herb Sendek was calling a timeout after the three, but the ref wasn't looking, and Kentucky tied the game. So,
insanity.
Yeah, that's tough. That's the human element of what this looks like, but that is absolutely brutal. Some are also alleging that a Kentucky player tried to call a timeout, and they didn't obviously have any. That would have been a technical, but I didn't see that. There's no evidence of that, but there's a very clear picture of Herb throwing up the tee, and he couldn't get it in. So the rest is history.
For those of you who were listening with us live, you heard the roar and the live commentary that we had with Mike Palm on the desk. It was crazy.
There wasn't much commentary. It was more like grunting and, oh, my God. And
I thought I did a pretty decent job with the play-by-play talking through the madness.
You did. You gave me a Harlan. Kevin Harlan, remember the Virginia, what was the Virginia game, whatever, where he put the hand out. He was like, no, shut up.
Sadly, no streakers for us to do play-by-play for. Kevin Harlan does that better than anybody else. Also, we are underway in the second half with Arizona and Long Island. Big lead here for the Wildcats, 63-34. Just about 5 minutes in here to the second half. We're still waiting, I believe, to get underway in Wright State, Villanova.
Let's get this done.
But for
under
anybody
159.5.
who hasn't been paying attention to this one, yes, JVT played a live under now for the full game. Wright State up 43-38 at the break as a 17.5-point dog at close for this one. Currently, that live spread, Virginia laying 6.5 still, despite the early deficit. I mentioned Tennessee State, Iowa State set to get underway here in a little bit. Did you end up pulling the trigger on this one? Iowa State, huge favorite, 24.5.
No, I'll leave that to you.
I'm not doing anything on it.
Oh, I thought you liked it.
I mean, I lean Iowa State. I think they're significantly the better team.
Let me double check my contest plays, because that might have been a contest play for the Circuit College Hoops Challenge.
I know a lot of people like Tennessee State in this spot in terms of like it just being kind of an outlier and you're getting a lot of points, but I think the size advantage is going to be the big difference in this one.
My remaining plays for the contest, not you and I, but for me personally in the Circuit College Hoops Challenge, Hofstra plus 13, Kansas minus 14.5, Furman plus 21, Iowa Clemson under 129, and Central Florida plus 6. My Texas Tech minus 7.5 win has not yet registered. So in this round after Texas Tech, I will be 6-4 and looking to get to the top of the leaderboard, Stormy.
All right. Let's push it through. Let's go to that Hofstra-Alabama game, though. Obviously, you have a number that's not available anymore. Currently sit Alabama laying 11.5 in that 4-13 matchup total, 158.5. I mentioned it earlier, Seth Davis, when we saw the bracket reveal on CBS come down, he said Hofstra was his upset of the tournament. He loves this team, loves the matchup. That was before we got the Aiden Holloway news that for the Tide, their second leading scorer, best shooter, isn't going to be available in this game. What got you to that side so quickly?
I mean, it's how Hofstra plays. We've talked about these archetype of teams that you want to pull upsets, and you want a team that's going to play at a slow pace. You want a team that's going to take a high volume of threes, and that's exactly what Hofstra is. We've said it a bunch of times, but it's just worth reiterating. If you look at the Pride's profile, 317th in the country in terms of tempo, 107th in the country when you look at three-point rate. They take 43.1% of their attempts from beyond the arc. They shoot 36.8%. You will say it 1,000 times over, and we'll do it again next year. When you have these teams in these first rounds that want to spring upsets, you cut down on the amount of possessions. You don't want the other team to have more opportunities to pull away. You also ratchet up the variance by taking the more valuable shot more often, which is going to be from beyond the arc. Now, Alabama's going to be more than willing to take those threes too, but cutting down on that tempo and not allowing them to get out and run is going to be pretty big. So hopefully they do. And they played even slower in conference play, so maybe they can get that. Not by much, but they went from, for the season, 64.8 possessions to just in conference play, 64.4. Play this slow, and they can, I think, be able to get this done. And then, of course, we don't even mention the fact that Alabama down a player, and a key player at that, is obviously going to help things too.
I'm trying to see what the first half number is for the total on this game. It's for whatever
What time does this
reason,
game
it's
start?
not pulling up 12:15 Pacific.
We playing
3:15
another first to
Eastern.
10?
Should we?
Yes.
I'm down for that.
All right, let's go. Come on.
Okay, tell me what the number is when you pull it up. I don't know why this, for whatever reason, isn't pulling up. I was thinking about maybe a first half under in this game because of what you're talking about with the pace.
Yeah.
And Hofstra being 317th in the country in that adjusted tempo, playing at a completely different style than Alabama, that maybe early on it could be a little bit clunky trying to figure out what's going to win out in that sense. I know this total in general, after we've seen some just absolutely sky-high totals for Alabama in the past, actually might seem low for them at 158.5. But I think an under specifically in the first half, which we know from Ryan Kramer and a lot of other people at this network that have been doing that thing for a long time, that first half unders are a way of life for some people out there. So
Hold on.
that might be an angle. Have you found the first to 10?
I'm playing Tennessee State first to 10 as well. Get this in real quick. Come on, give it to me. No.
Your play-by-play of you placing bets is fascinating.
Okay, let's go. We in?
Also, for anybody who doesn't know much about this Hofstra team,
Cool.
Cruz Davis is a really fun player to watch. Like, he's one of those top mid-major players out there in the game. And so I'm excited for him to see if he has a little bit of a day and can have his, one shining moment type of a thing. Like, obviously we saw from High Point yesterday who can be that guy, who can make the highlight reel at the end of this thing. It's all really fun.
All right, we're in. So Tennessee State, let's see. I just placed I got Tennessee State first to 10 plus 280. And you can get Hofstra at about plus 160. So take a look at that. Let's see what we got going on here.
74 is that first half number. Should I play the under?
Do what your heart desires. This is, it's Stormy, it's March Madness. All right?
Why not?
You want to play something? Play something. Let's go.
All right.
We're firing away. Okay? We're about
Just
to
a
watch
baby
Tennessee
bet.
State score the first 10 points. Let's get
Just
this
a
thing done.
baby bet.
Doesn't matter.
All right, I got to get my, well, now I had to talk to our audience to keep us above water here while you were placing that bet. So now can you talk so that I can place a first to 10, please?
I'm
Thank
not
you.
I'm not the host, though. That's the problem. All right, Arizona.
You keep on telling me you can do it all. So.
I can. They call me One Take Tobal. 65-39. 12:39 left to go in the second half right now. Arizona's taking care of business. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, our next couple of games, Tennessee State, Iowa State, and Hofstra, Alabama at 1:10 p.m. So we have a little bit of over an hour. And probably a little bit more considering the change on the court and whatnot. Villanova and Utah State. As you get that bet in, I want your thoughts here because I believe that you are high on the Utah State Aggies. This has been moving all the way around. At one point, it got up to 3, if I remember correctly, in favor of Utah State. Now we're back down to 1.5, 2 with a total of 146.5. State your case for the Mountain West.
Yeah, it's come back down. I think Utah State, the rightful favorite in this spot, though. We talked a lot about how, based on where both of these teams are at, the seeding could be flipped. I think the market is right in that the worst seed is the better team in this spot. I understand, I think Kevin Willard is a really good coach. Villanova did a lot of things to be put in the position that they are here in the tournament, but they are a little bit beat up. No Matt Hodge, who tore his ACL. Their backcourt's pretty strong defensively, but as a whole, when you look at some of the numbers, outside of the top 150 in both 2 and 3-point shooting allowed. We also just saw them get bounced in the quarterfinals to Georgetown in an ugly game, whereas Utah State feels like got back on the track in the Mountain West tournament, beating San Diego State the way that they did, and especially pulling away in those final minutes and making their mark, doing the difference. They are also a really efficient 3-point shooting team, but they don't have to rely on it. They can beat you in other ways as well. There were just a lot of things that led me to Utah State on the money line in this game. Plus, you look at some of the comparative metrics in terms of the teams that they beat. Utah State 4-4 in quad 1 wins compared to Villanova 2-6 in that category. They're the higher ranked team in both Ken Pom and Bart Torvik. Net ranking 28th in offensive efficiency, 11th nationally on 2-point shots, hitting nearly 60%. So again, I just feel like there's so many different things that brought me onto the Utah State side. To your point, though, the market has moved against me on that. Utah State still favored. You're getting a cheaper money line than I bet. I bet minus 134. It's currently minus 125. For me, that's the side. One thing I will say, though, because I know the people out there love their trends, and people, I think, love fading Mountain West teams, and I'll give you the rationale for why a lot of people might like Villanova just from a trends perspective here. The last decade, the Mountain West is the worst covering conference of any entering the tournament. Negative 36% ROI, and that's with San Diego State going on a run to the national title in 2023. Take out the Aztecs as a league, they're 5-25 straight up, 6-22 against the spread since 2016. Going even farther back to 2007, they've only been above 500 ATS in the league once, and teams seeded 9th or worse, Utah State, of course, a 9 seed in this spot, 9-29-2, ATS, 5-35 straight up. They do not win these games. They do not cover these games. I would not fault anyone for just looking blindly at this trend and saying Utah State is not a team I can get on board with, because we have seen it year in, year out. However, what is something that you and I talk about a ton, whether any sport, any game, whatever it is, just because something has happened a number of times to different teams in different years doesn't mean that's going to happen for this group. It's a completely different team.
I agree.
Spoken like a true man who didn't listen to a word I said.
I was
It's
listening,
fine,
but
don't
Tennessee
worry about
State, so missed. They got a free throw attempt, or got a couple free throw attempts. Missed the first, got the second, and their offense has been having some issues just getting beyond half court. So I don't know if we're going to get this first to 10 there, Storm. They're up Iowa State 2-1, 18:38 left to go.
I don't know. That response was just like if I asked my husband to do the dishes and then he would. Oh my gosh! Speaking of which. Speak of the devil, and he appears.
Wow, with a haircut, too.
With a haircut. We'll discuss that off air. Reminder, everybody, if you're serious about betting this March, meet Edge Boost, the Visa and debit card and bank account built specially for gamers. No declined deposits, no waiting on bank transfers. Edge Boost gives you real-time access to your funds 24/7, 365, even on nights, weekends, holidays, doesn't matter. Use it across all your favorite sports books and DFS platforms, and earn up to 0.5% cash back on eligible deposit. Sorry, I am like flummoxed.
You're all
right
over.
now.
I got the next read.
My husband cut like a foot of hair off of his head, and I didn't know what to expect. New users sign up, promo code VSIN with Edge Boost. They're going to match that first deposit up to $50. Edgeboost.bet, promo code VSIN. Check it out today. We're back with the madness on the screen and in my household. We'll be right back.
Hey, let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. It's March, which means the madness is officially upon us, and the folks at VSiN have really gone crazy with this one. I'm being told that for just $29.99, you can get unlimited access to VSiN Pro through May 1st. I'm talking picks through the tournament, public betting data for every single game, plus sharp tools, projections, articles, and more. Just click the link in the description to get started. It's March, baby. All right, now back to the show.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back to the madness here on Money Moves, live from the D in downtown Las Vegas. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. This segment presented by Upside. You can download the Upside app for free anywhere. Get cash back every time you fill up your tank. Plus, right now, when you use the promo code SPORTS, you get 25 cents off that first fill up per gallon. Stormy Buonantony, JVT with you once again. And a big development here in this Tennessee State, Iowa State a moment ago. We'll wait to see if we see anything firm, hearing it from the broadcast or on X here, but Joshua Jefferson, who is one of the players as we were previewing this game, I talked about as someone who really refound his game recently, was going to be an important piece for them in this game, could not put any weight on that left ankle and had to be helped off the court a moment ago. Iowa State currently up 7-3 right now, first few minutes into the game.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be huge. I mean, in this game, given that you're a prohibitive favorite, one would assume that you don't feel the effects too much.
But for the tournament as a whole.
And we've talked about not only Iowa State, but the run in this bracket that we kind of thought, there was a clip up on X from Mitch and I talking about the path for Michigan potentially as they look through this bracket, and that could make it easier for a team like Michigan. They do have to take on St. Louis or whatnot, but one of your biggest opponents maybe being somewhat weaker there. We will see if that is the case. And remember, the winner of this will take on Kentucky, so that looms large for Kentucky in the round of 32 coming up on Sunday. But big loss, obviously, for Iowa State if he cannot come back, but we don't know officially what's going on.
Yeah, big all-around player for them. He's their second leading scorer, second assist getter, top rebounder. He really does it all on the court on both sides for them. So again, Joshua Jefferson injured a moment ago. If we get anything firm moving forward, we'll let you know. But at least at first blush, when he was trying to get off the court and needed to be assisted, did not look great. A few games still to come as well. I guess pre-tip real quickly, you want to give your flash preview of Hofstra, Alabama, for anybody who might have missed it last segment as we get set for that tip-off.
Took the points. Hopefully they'll slow the pace, take a ton of threes, and be able to kind of ratchet this thing up and make this a wild game. So slow it down, shoot a ton of threes, and get to this Alabama defense, which can be pretty inconsistent, we'll say.
I'm on Utah State as well as that game with Villanova set to get underway here in the next few minutes.
I think got an hour until that starts.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like 1:10.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're right.
You got plenty of time.
I got an
plenty of
hour
time.
ahead of myself. I guess I don't need to hustle with that preview. But I like Utah State
Well,
for anybody who missed our breakdown last second.
We can't hit as we're waiting for action to develop. 20 minutes after that scheduled tip time is one of the more
Miami of
interesting.
Ohio,
One of the
right?
more interesting games of the day. Tennessee and Miami, Ohio. And I got to tell you, I'll be sweating out Tennessee here a little bit later today. Miami, Ohio was great against SMU, but I thought Mike Palm, when he was with us earlier, brought up a great point. You look at and evaluate teams by the way they're playing recently, and I think Miami, Ohio is a great offensive team. They took on an SMU squad that has been brutal on defense in ACC play, and down the stretch they were awful. So I don't know if it's incredibly surprising that Miami, Ohio, with their offense was able to do what they were going to do. Tennessee is a completely different animal. They're one of the better offensive rebounding teams in the country. Actually, still might lead the country in offensive rebounding rate. We'll double check that. They're going to be able to beat them up on the glass. They're going to have a much more difficult time, and they do lead the country in offensive rebounding rate. In their half-court sets, I don't think you're going to face a defense that's going to be constantly biting on pump fakes and giving you open looks on second opportunities. I think Tennessee is going to be able to maybe show a little bit of what a lot of people have been expecting. Good win against SMU, but defensively, athletically, this is a really big step up in competition. And it was on Miami, Ohio against SMU. We'll go the other way here. Late it.
Yeah, I feel like against SMU, they were very clearly the better team from the beginning. SMU was a fringe bubble team at best anyways. They didn't have BJ Edwards. There were a lot of things that were working against them in that game. But now you have to go and face better competition. So what's it going to look like? I saw a tweet earlier from BR Betting as well, talking about all of the bets that had come in on Miami of Ohio at this number, but that the spread had gone from 10.5 to 12.5, and it was the little Brian Windhorst windy meme with the fingers up. What's going on? And so, yeah, even though all of these tickets are coming in on Miami of Ohio, the volume of the money has been on that Tennessee side when all is said and done. Any strong opinion one way or another on the total for this game, especially just considering the style of play? I know you talk about Tennessee's defense, but Miami of Ohio playing kind of like that football-esque hurry-up offense, just dish the ball out and go.
I mean, I would if I'm right and we're laying it, I would assume that means a muted scoring day for Miami, Ohio, so look at under potentially. Tennessee, the way they're going to beat this thing too is we're going to get second chance opportunities, getting offensive rebounds, so elongated possessions for them as well. So I would assume that we're going to go under as somebody who likes this game for the Tennessee side. Where are we at here? Yeah, open 149. So there's 148.5, there's 149.5, so we haven't really seen a ton of movement here.
Most popular sides today in the Circa College Hoops Challenge that you are a part of.
And for our audience, that is the invitational handicapper one that Paul Stone won last year. Because I know we have a lot of contests.
That's true. We have talked a couple times about our picks. So we, Money Moves as a show together, are in like the VSiN March betting challenge, bracket challenge, excuse me, where you have to make a pick on we had to make 20 picks for the first round,
for us,
side or total for every single game. I'm not every single game, but first.
I was just going to say, for us in the Circa College Hoops Challenge for the first round, it was 15 selections.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that is specifically, like, you have to be invited to this. It's professional handicappers and bettors, VSiN hosts, and you.
None of the above.
So from that contest side, so the people whose opinions that we imagine matter. I have to put it that way because you're in it.
I was really about to say a bad word now, but I won't.
Hofstra was one of those most popular picks, and I think a part of that, too, you're getting the additional points, right? We're sitting 11.5 right now. You get 13 in the contest. They have those static lines so that everybody's getting the same number in the contest. 7 players taking the points, nobody on Alabama. The other most lopsided, UCF against UCLA. 9 of you guys, I don't think you are, though, on UCF.
I'm on UCF plus 6, yeah.
9 of you guys on UCF plus 6.
Ooh, didn't know that.
1 on UCLA.
I mean, there's a lot there. Obviously, we have seen Mick Cronin and the Bruins struggle away from home. Some of it was at one point some line value, but really it's not really there. We got 6 in the contest. It's 5.5 across the board. I'm just playing against them, and I thought we brought this up with Will, which was, look, UCF, we've seen the highs and lows of what UCF can be, and they didn't end the year well. They lost 3 straight. They barely get by Cincinnati, then they get smoked by Arizona. But the upside of what UCF is a team that can score. They shoot the ball very well, although they don't take a ton of threes. Their first shot offense can be pretty effective. I think that this is a matchup in which we have seen, although Mick Cronin has said that he likes being out there, the long trip for UCLA against UCF. And look at just some of the road spots in which they have struggled here. Obviously, Iowa, Wisconsin, Ohio State, just away from home has not treated UCLA well, and they've been ugly losses at that.
I know that a lot of people were concerned about UCLA because of the health stuff. Maybe
We're still alive for our first
I
at 10
know,
here.
yeah.
Come
Iowa State
on,
up
get a
9-7
stop.
right now. Can we
Give
get
me a stop and a 3. Yeah, come on.
Exactly.
No, not that 3. Come on now. All right, come on. Relax. Relax.
Sorry, yeah, that wasn't the play-by-play our audience was looking for. What was that noise I made? I don't even know.
I don't know. But we're trying to see if we can get a stop here as Iowa State's moving the ball around. So I need a stop.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to UCLA until I see what happens on this possession. Stupid Cyclones.
Whatever.
But that's
It's plus
why,
255.
Yeah, I was going to say that's why it was such a big plus money prop to
All right,
begin
we're
with.
underway. Crimson Tide up 2-0. First bucket of the day.
What were the odds on Hofstra first to 10? I don't remember.
You see, I got that twisted up. So Hofstra was plus 155, plus 160. This was plus 235.
I think Circa had plus 180 on Hofstra.
Really?
Yeah. Neither here nor there.
I needed to get it in. Should have looked around.
To go back to UCLA, UCF, I know a lot of the concern about the Bruins in this game was their health. Donovan Dent and Tyler Bilodeau both dealing with lower leg injuries, but all of the reports say they're good to go. Bilodeau specifically, UCLA's leading scorer, 18 points per game, 51% from the field, 46% from 3, 87% from the foul line. Like, those are really good numbers, and if he's okay, like, I have more faith in UCLA just knowing that their two guys are, if they are to health, like, I believe that UCLA should win and then cover.
You're wrong.
Sure, probably, but I don't know. They were playing really well down the stretch. Yes, they lost to Purdue, I know, in the Big Ten tournament, but obviously Bilodeau wasn't there, and you see Dent get hurt like 10 minutes into that game, so they also beat Purdue earlier this season. They have wins the last couple weeks over Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan State. Yeah, they had that bad loss to Minnesota, but to me, it feels like they've been trending up. And if Mick Cronin's actually kind of like in a good mood about this travel situation, then maybe they'll have the vibes right.
Two things. One, 8-0 run for Iowa State, 17-7 now. So we talked about avalanches. That could get ugly pretty quickly.
Fast.
Number 2, Donovan Dent, former Lobo.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Poor New Mexico. They can't have anything nice.
And New Mexico plays in?
The Mountain West.
The Mountain West. Where?
What are you doing?
UNLV plays as well.
It all comes back to UNLV. You make me sick. Gosh, and then Iowa State just hits another shot, 20-7.
Come on now.
That.
Look at that. Do you think TJ Otzelberger owns any bigger polos?
He wants to show the guns off.
Does.
Let him
Nipples,
let him
too.
Oh, God. See, you lost
Real
me with
tight
that
on the
one.
midriff.
You lost me with that one. Let me see. What else do I find interesting today? We've talked a couple times about this Iowa-Clemson game, but this is one that, at least for our contest picks, we have the under in. We'll get back to this in a little bit because I did not realize we need to hit the break right now. That happened. Just like Iowa State pulled away that fast, we hit our commercial break that fast. Do want to remind you before we head out, though, you can save money on gas with the free Upside app. Download the app, check nearby offers, and earn cash back every time you fill up your tank. Plus, with the promo code SPORTS, that'll get you an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. Download the app today. Promo code SPORTS. Offers vary by user and location. Head over to upside.com for more details. More March Madness coming up after this. We'll preview Iowa Clemson, Miami, Missouri, Northern Iowa St. John's with some intrigue and a whole lot more.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If the mania wasn't enough, ProfitX has taken March Madness to a whole new level this year. Instead of just relying on a bracket, join ProfitX's King of March. ProfitX giving you a shot to become the king with free trips worth up to $10,000. Here's how it works. Throughout the tournament, win 10 different pregame spreads or totals across all the games. Hit the volume goal on wins or losses, and you're entered to win a trip of your choice. Hit $1,000 in total volume, you're entered for the 5K trip. $10,000 in volume, the $10,000 trip. We're talking flights, hotels, wherever you want to go, covered up to those amounts. It's simple. Download ProfitX, create your account, and use the promo code VSiNMM. Win 10, hit the volume, earn your shot. Every additional 10 you hit gets you another shot. Sign up today with code VSiNMM and compete to become the King of March with ProfitX. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you live in downtown Las Vegas. And how about Iowa State continuing to pull away JVT on a 17-0 run here? Nate Heisey with 10 of them.
Yeah, this is what we talked about. You figure that maybe this is going to happen at some point, and shorthanded as well, as if you're just joining us, the news, of course, for Iowa State is that Joshua Jefferson hurt 3 minutes into the game. We haven't seen an update on what's going to happen. I also haven't checked Twitter. Maybe there's something up there you can look at and find. But this is the danger of playing Iowa State, man. They can force turnovers. They can get out and run. This has been a brutal start for Tennessee State. 6 turnovers in the early going, and that has led to some really good fast break opportunities for the Cyclones. They are playing their game at this point right now.
Yeah, oddly enough, actually playing better without Joshua Jefferson, who couldn't put any weight on that left foot as he had to be helped off the court. Still waiting to get an update from the broadcast. I did look it up, and we haven't seen anything new there.
8 points off turnovers, by the way, for Iowa State. And we have a 4-point game between Alabama and Hofstra. They got off to an 8-2 start, the Crimson Tide did, so maybe it looked like early, but Hofstra slowed it down here a bit and got back into it. Nasty shot block here. Get out and run, boys. Let's go.
Also, we're at a commercial break with Arizona Long Island.
Lay it up.
Just a few more minutes to go in this one. I think we're at or under 4, but the spread's really going to come in the balance in this one, potentially. Arizona up 31 right now, line close 30.5.
Yes, it did, and we will monitor that. But how about this for a statistic? Virginia, 5 of 5 from beyond the arc in this second half against Wright State so far. It is tied at 61 apiece, 10:20 left to go. So Cavs still scrapping, and the pace has slowed down a bit. I haven't double-checked the in-game total.
164.5.
Is that 164.5?
Yep.
Never mind. I might wander 159.5. So we sped back up. How about that? So the total at one point dropped to 153.5. We've had a little bit of a spurt of scoring here between these two.
I think that's just one of those things that happens when you start hitting the 3 ball, but still about, like I said, 10 minutes here to go still in that game. So a lot to be played in that 2-point game. Miami, Missouri coming up later on this afternoon. So I'm curious your opinion on this one. I haven't heard a lot of talk about this game at all, one way or another. Miami, I think when you look on paper, obviously, and the seeding will tell you this too, the better team. I was very disappointed with the way that they lost in the ACC tournament to, oddly enough, this Virginia team who is sucking it up today. But they're so much better than they looked that day from a KenPom perspective. They're the better team, 31-52 in KenPom, 35-46 in Bart Torvik over Missouri. Missouri is a bubble team that was pretty fortunate to avoid Dayton and has the benefit of playing in St. Louis, less than 2 hours from campus. What kind of an advantage could that potentially be for them in this spot? In terms of the spread, I want to see if there was any movement on this, but it doesn't really look like it. 1.5 right now in favor of Miami, total 145.5.
Not to interrupt, but to update, they just showed Jefferson on crutches in the back, still working toward the locker room or moving away from the locker room.
And for Iowa State, big picture in the tournament.
Yeah, so one can assume that probably not coming back here in this game as his foot was wrapped and he was on crutches.
26-7 again here about midway through that first half when all is said and done. Do you have any opinion on that 10-7 with Missouri and Miami?
To be honest with you, no. I mean, I thought this was relatively well priced. I didn't think that I had an advantage in any way, shape, or form for Miami, as we have seen them, especially in conference play, whittling it down to the most recent sample size. High upside on offense, really good on the interior, but they don't shoot a ton of threes. Really good in two-point efficiency, shooting just over 56% against conference opponents. If you're going to get this done, it's probably through the way you play offensively. Missouri, when they got to conference play, really, really bogged down on offense. And one of the big things that bothered them, turned the ball over a ton. They ended up finishing 16th in SEC play in offensive turnover rate. So, Stormy, if they start to show up in that regard, if they're coughing up extra possessions, if they're giving Miami some easy looks to get out there and get in transition, not that Miami's a sprinting team, but you'll take transition opportunities when you can get them. That's going to be a pretty big deal here. So, lean toward Miami, but thought that this was pretty much where it probably should be at this point right now.
Man, Iowa State cannot stop scoring. Extended that lead out 30-7 right now. 21-0 run over nearly 5 minutes of game time, 4:45 throughout that.
Is this where we see Virginia pull away? Nifty little run here, not a big one, but it's 65-61, 9 minutes left to go in the second half.
Well, I'm guessing you hope not, because you don't want the scoring to continue at this rate.
I don't mind them pulling away if they don't let Wright State score. So they haven't let Wright State score in the last 2 minutes. So if they're going to pull away, pull away and essentially pitch a shutout here down the stretch. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for me.
As we say that live total back down to 160.5.
Yeah.
So trending at least more toward that number you had. 159.5, you said, correct?
Yes, 159.5 for me.
Okay, still a close game. Alabama Hofstra up 13-9 right now. That spread back out to 13.5, which was, I believe, the number you placed earlier when this opened, right? Closed ultimately 11.5. And final minutes here of Arizona LIU, 52 with about 2.5 minutes here to go. So anybody who laid that number with Arizona feeling a little bit sweaty right now, but see if they can tack things on and extend this lead a bit.
Yeah, and I'm going to get screwed here for Virginia and Wright State as well, so I'm going to lose this total, because if Virginia can't pull away, then Wright State's going to foul, and they're going to foul to the bitter end, and I'm going to lose this on free throws. So I'll chalk this one up as a loser here with about 8 minutes left to go in the second half.
Let me cruise through a couple of these other games with you.
Sure.
Games in particular that I don't have a strong opinion one way or another. And I know we went through that exercise with our VSiN March contest as well, talking through, like, some of these were games we skipped, but curious your opinion, especially with the way that Purdue has played lately. Obviously, they go out, win the Big Ten tournament. Seems like they found their stride, playing more like the team that was a preseason favorite, preseason number 1 in the AP. They're the 2 seed against the 15 in Queens in the opener. 25.5 that spread. It's a 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern tip. Total 159.5.
Market, I think, bet it up, right? So I would probably agree with that. I mean, Purdue's got the upside on offense to take care of an opponent like this against Queens. I think the real question about the Boilermakers is as you get a little bit later. But as we've seen and talked about a couple of times here, you've seen these favorites in the first, the 1 and the 2 seeds, if I could talk, get bet up from Sunday on the openers to now. And I think that's probably the right move for most of these. And I would agree with Purdue in the ability to get this done here against Queens.
One of those 1 seeds, the defending national champion Florida Gators, who are the biggest spread of the first round, out from 33.5 to 35.5 right now in that matchup with Prairie View A&M. Of course, A&M comes out of the first 4 with an upset win of their own against Lehigh, but now very different level of competition against the Gators. Total in this one bet well up from 149 to 155.5.
I liked Will's angle. Will Hill was with us earlier. He had first half here for Florida, expecting that maybe they get out to a really big lead against Prairie View A&M. So first half number right now, I'm looking at 21.5. Is that accurate? My thing's, 21.5. So with a total of 72.5, laid out with Florida in the first half, they could pull away against Prairie View A&M. I mean, they have such an advantage up front with their front court, the ability to rebound, keep Prairie View A&M out of the paint offensively as well. One would assume that they could really control the flow of this game throughout if they wanted to. But first half, the most important, if you will. If they build up the big lead, then maybe they call off the dogs and you can't really get there. So I like that angle too with Will. I think that's a smart one. First half, Florida.
Kansas, kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get from them throughout the course of the season. They were bet up from 13.5 to, I'm seeing 14.5 pretty across the board here against Cal Bap. Cal Baptist, not a team I've heard many people making a case for in this game. Total also bet up from 136.5 to 141.5.
I hope there's not a case to be made. I laid 13.5 and in the contest used the 14.5 with Kansas against Cal Baptist. One of the things that Cal Baptist really wants to do, they want to generate second chance opportunities. They want to attack the basket. They're a really good 2-point percentage team, especially in conference play. I'm going to assume that you can't do them. I shouldn't assume. I'm going to say that you can't do that against Kansas with this wager. Kansas is a really good defensive team inside. They're not a great rebounding team, but obviously those numbers are in conference play against much better competition. Can Cal Baptist really bully their way on the glass, get offensive rebounds, generate those second chance opportunities like they did throughout their own conference play? I don't think so. And then just the overall skill talent, especially on the perimeter for Kansas. I think that there's an ability here for them to get this done and run them out. So Kansas minus 14.5, and Hofstra has their first lead of the day, 18-16.
Hey now.
Let's do it.
And in a game like this too, though, for Kansas, you probably don't need a full complement of minutes, hypothetically, from Darren Peterson, right?
One would hope. I hope.
I am curious, now that we are officially at tournament time, if the cramps stuff is real, right? Everything that he's dealt with and the lower leg injuries, if that all is ultimately real, it doesn't just go away in the tournament.
No, it does not.
So I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out. Hofstra, another one. So up 20-16 right now.
And a long scoring drought for Alabama, and they're going to get to the free throw line. I believe Hofstra is here too.
And so this is kind of what I was talking about in terms of the clunkiness of the totally different styles and paces of these two teams. So I've hit the under 74.5 for the first half. Still sweating it out, but I would like more of a scoring drought for Alabama, which would be good for the both of us.
Keep it up.
We got to step aside. When we come back, we're going to close things out. Best bets for the rest of the day, and why I am not on board with this trendy underdog later on tonight. We'll be right back.
Oh, no!
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
year as a bettor, and if you want to give yourself an edge, our VSiN Hoops Mania specials going on right now, where you can get VSiN Pro access to everything we do here at the network through May 1st for just $29.99. With VSiN Pro, you get all the best bets from our show hosts and guests, real-time betting splits data from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop tools, matchup analysis, 24/7 video, and full show replays, all on the VSiN Watch app. Plus, you get our March Mania betting guide. And even though we're deep in the first round here, there's still betting angles and opportunities, looking at which teams could go deep, packed with team profiles for every tournament. Get those breakdowns and trends for each and every round. Plus, of course, best bets from your favorite analysts. Sign up now at vsin.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. All right, JVT, the action.
I was going to say, do you need something from me?
The action going all over the place. So I was going to tee you up for the woulda, shoulda, coulda on the final possession with Arizona and Long Island, as the Wildcats ultimately do win and cover.
They do. I thought I was I did not have the total, or excuse me, the number proper, but yeah, Long Island had an opportunity to get a bucket to put it on 32. There was a lot of in-game numbers that you mentioned.
They were at 32.5, like at one point pre-flop, right? And then in-game, I think it peaked at Arizona in favored by like 38.5. So it depends on the numbers.
Hofstra has hit 6 of their last 8 here, baby. Come on, they are on fire. Up 28-18, 9:13 left to go in the first. What kind of a run are we talking about? 16-2 run over the last 3 minutes. Let's keep this going. Have a little pride, if you will.
Whoa,
yeah. So
bing bong.
Either way, Long Island had an opportunity. The kid was wide. It was like a little cherry pick situation. He was all by himself in the front court. Long pass, and it just slipped out of his hands and went out of bounds. He would have just had an easy layup to put it right on 32. And as you mentioned, it's a good shout. Some of those 32.5ers out there maybe kicking themselves a little bit here.
Meanwhile, we've been keeping tabs all show on this Wright State Virginia game. Virginia, if you remember, laying 17.5 before this game started. They're down 70-69 right now with less than 5 minutes to play.
In-game totals down to 156.5.
So you're feeling better. JVT took the in-game 150 under. I thought you took under 159.5.
No, I am, but
well, considering this was 165.5 a few minutes ago.
Sure, but again, like the foul game, I mean, if we keep this tight, like a 1-point game, maybe I won't get burned by it. We'll see what happens. But how about that if I told you I might get burned on an in-game total because Virginia's the one that needs to foul to keep themselves in it potentially.
Yeah, did not see that coming. But honestly, so this is what's frustrating to me, is when in the ACC tournament, I was all over Miami in that matchup because I thought Virginia was fraudulent. Where the hell was this team when I needed them?
No idea.
Awful. Awful.
I don't remember that at all.
Like I said, too, don't have a strong opinion in that Miami-Missouri game today. We talked about it. It felt like the line was just pretty dead on. What is your opinion on the line in Northern Iowa St. John's? We talked with Will Hill earlier in the program. He is one of the people that is on NIU in this spot. Ultimately, I understand the rationale, but before I say anything, I want to hear your thoughts.
I have questions about what St. John's is. I mean...
Oh, and it's UNI, excuse me, for them.
Yes. We're not playing. St. John's is a team that I think, look, they don't take a ton of threes. They don't shoot them particularly well. They're a good rebounding team. You know, much of the similar archetype as they were a season ago. Very good rebounding team. So I think in matchups like this, you're probably looking at them to potentially get it done. My problem with Northern Iowa, I mean, you see if they can like ratchet up their frequency of three-point attempts and try to really push this thing, then I think maybe you start to feel a little bit better at them. They are very, very slow. We're talking 363rd in the country slow in terms of tempo. So that in and of itself could make this a little bit dicey. If they're going to be able to slow St. John's down, not allow them to get on a run, don't turn the ball over and give them free possessions, I can understand the logic of going with Northern Iowa, especially if they have a good shooting night.
Yeah, one of the slowest paced teams in the country, 24th in the country as well in defensive efficiency. And whenever you're getting, I think, double digits in a game that you think is going to have fewer possessions, it's a lower total game, facing as well a team in St. John's that we know struggles from the three-point line. I can understand all of the rationale. And speaking of those three-point woes, St. John's 33% on the year, sub 30% though since the end of January. That said, they were also 5 of 20 from 3 against UConn in the Big East title game and still won that game by 20. So when I look at St. John's, I understand every argument for Northern Iowa to cover this number, and maybe they do. But vibes for me just tell me St. John's has the size, they have the athleticism, they have the advantage on the offensive glass. They're going to out-physical this team to me. And God forbid they actually do start shooting pretty decently, then it could be a really long day for Northern Iowa. So again, like I get everybody that's on the Panthers in this spot. I'm not going to fault anybody for it. And I'm not fighting for St. John's in the sense where I'm saying I'm laying a 2-unit play on the Johnnies here. That's not where I'm going. But my vibes are telling me that a lot of people are on this dog and maybe they shouldn't be.
Alabama hits its first 3 of the game, 28-21. They started 0-7 from beyond the arc, so they're now 1 of 8. That's how math works.
Yep.
28-21, 7:55 left to go.
Also, is there anything,
too,
in your opinion, on St. John's, a potential disrespect, chip on the shoulder type of a thing? Because there's been a lot of talk about how they shouldn't have been a 5 seed.
Oh, like they should have been higher?
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably something to that. I don't know how that manifests in a game like this, but I would assume results are a little bit better for you in that we just beat the tar at UConn. Like, we're a lot better. We don't need the validation of being a higher seed, but there's probably something to it to an extent. Sure.
Speaking of the Huskies, big favorites against Furman today. Any thoughts there?
Yes, I used Furman as one of my plays for the Circuit College Hoops Challenge, the Invitational Handicapping Contest, whatever we're calling it.
Furman, 20.5 that number, by the way.
Yeah, in the contest we got 21, so a little bit of the better number. Look, we talked about this a lot with UConn. They are one of the worst covered teams in the field right now. They are a team that the market has overvalued all season long. Maybe, to your point about disrespect or just trying to get a better taste in your mouth, UConn comes out and wants to just bludgeon Furman here. But I think that this is a team that has been way overvalued all season long, and I'll take my shot with 21 of Furman.
Okay.
And we've seen these big dogs. I mean, you brought it up at the beginning of the show. These dogs have been at least pretty feisty early on in some of these games. Yeah. Tennessee State not doing their best, but the other ones. So we'll draw lines with Tennessee State. I mean, they don't really count.
I think we did
not part of the club.
I think we accomplished the goal, though. We talked about every single game today.
That should be the goal. It's like the
well, we tried to yesterday, and then we had so much live action going on that we were constantly distracted.
Well,
so
a
I
lot
don't
of
think
games,
we hit them all.
It went down to the wire, too. So
sure.
It was absolutely incredible. And that chicken from KFC looks pretty good. You can get some food after this, Doug.
I am. I'm really hungry. I'm really thirsty as well. Yeah. I think that'd be what I'm most excited about.
You did hot yoga? Oh, no, you did yoga yesterday.
I did.
You did yoga yesterday. Not
dude,
today.
So I know you've been, like, in the yoga game recently. Have you done hot yoga
recently?
Yet?
I am a yoga enthusiast.
A yogi?
No, not a yogi.
Namaste?
You know, at the peak of my powers, I loved yoga. It's absolutely fantastic.
Do you do hot? But I was going to ask, so, like, have you done hot yoga
I do my own version of hot yoga, which is turn the temperature up in my place to, like, 80 and do it. So.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, we live in Las Vegas. I just go outside.
I can do that, too.
That's an option. I hadn't done hot yoga in, like, years, and I've done a couple classes over the last week or two, and it is, like, it's good, man. You feel drained as hell afterwards, but kind of, like, in a good way, if that makes sense.
Get in sync with yourself. Breathe. Eliminate everything from your mind.
You want to hit on the rest of your best bets for the day, what you have, whether it be in the contest or actual plays?
All right, let's see. Contest-wise, since this is up right away, Hofstra plus 13 against Alabama in action. Kansas minus 14.5 against Cal Baptist. Furman plus 21 against UConn. Iowa Clemson under 129, and Central Florida plus 6. Hofstra also part of the personal wagering account today, as well as that UCF game and Kansas.
Okay.
What do you got?
The only other thing I had, like, most of my games have already been in action. Like,
gotta pump those numbers up, rookie numbers.
I know the only one at least I have now, and I'm sure as I partake in a few beverages and we have some fun watching the rest of these games, I'll dive in on some more first to 10s, first to 20s, and things like that. But Utah State, my favorite play of the afternoon window on the money line, currently available minus 125, minus 1.5 on the spread, total 146.5 against Villanova. I guess which is kind of a natural transition from all of our Big East talk here. But everything just really showing up. Utah State for me, and having worked with you as much as I do, we watch a lot of Mountain West basketball in this program. I feel like they kind of hit their stride in the Mountain West tournament, got back to the form that they had earlier on in the season when people were talking about them as the clear-cut upper echelon team in the conference. They're also playing this game in San Diego at Viejas Arena, so there is, whereas a lot of these teams across college basketball don't have arena familiarity, Utah State's going to have that a little bit. And just all of the metrics, like I went through a very long soapbox stand earlier in the program making my case for Utah State, but I just think it is going to be a matchup problem for a Villanova team that's banged up. So that's my favorite bet of the later window, and what I'm sure most are anticipating being a back-and-forth game.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, we're looking at this. So it's 75-70. Got this under 159.5. 2 minutes left to go. In-game total's like 157.5, 155.5 now. And I hope I don't get burned by this free throw game. That's going to be something to watch. But
I also need them to slow down.
I mean, Virginia should here. You should walk the ball up. There's no need to do this. Obviously, they're going to get sped up by Wright State with a press here. But now just stop. You've got it in the front court. Relax. Pull the ball out. And that's exactly what they're going to do. I
have under 74.5 in the first half for this Alabama-Hofstra game right now. What are we at, 49?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they need to slow down, too, with 7 minutes to go here in the first half for me.
There you go. Missed shot attempt. We'll take it.
All right, guys.
Virginia.
That's a wrap for us today. Thanks for hanging out with us. This has been a blast these last couple days at the D.
Real quick, shout out to our bosses, Steve Cohen, Bill
Absolutely.
Lady. Appreciate it. We know we asked for us to do this, and this has been a lot of fun, so we appreciate you letting us do it.
And now we're just going to hang out here the rest of the day. So this worked out nicely. Enjoy the day, everybody. Good luck with your bets. Keep it locked right here. If you're looking to play the tournament, get more in-game opportunities. Follow the money with Mitch and Paul coming up next from Circa Resort and Casino.